Hey guys, this is me Tyler, and today we're going to be going over the best Ultra Greatsword in every Souls game. And if you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments, because this is my opinion. For the Demon Souls Ultra Greatsword, or they're called very large swords in this game, I have the Dragon Bone Smasher. This does so much damage, you just can't go wrong with it. Not only does it do a sick ton of damage, it also gives fire defense, which makes it one of the best Ultra Greatswords in the game. Also, you can get it pretty early on, but you will have to kill Armor Spider and the Flame Lurker to get it, which Armor Spider isn't really that hard, but Flame Lurker is definitely the hardest boss in the game. And the world tendency for that area has to be pure white if you even want that weapon. Then you have to be in the Dragon Ball God boss fight area so you can even get it. So, yeah, it is the most popular weapon as well. So, comment down below if you do use it, because it is also a colorless Demon Soul weapon, which colorless Demon Soul weapons only just improve the scalings, but it still only gets a B scaling in strength, so it takes for just a little bit of damage. But still, the more you reinforce it, the more fire defense it'll give you. And so that's pretty nice that it can actually do that, because none another colorless Demon Soul weapon can do that. Anyways, that's the best Ultra Greatsword in Demon Souls. For the Dark Souls 1 Ultra Greatsword, of course, always, it's the most popular weapon in the game, just like the Dragon Ball Smasher, the Zweihander. It gets the most range out of the Ultra Greatswords, and you can get it right at the beginning of the game. Like, what? How is this supposed to be the best Ultra Greatsword? You can get it right at the beginning. It weighs only 10 pounds, which is the lightest Ultra Greatsword. And it doesn't even need that much stats to wield it. Like, you can just get 16 strength at the beginning. Two-hand this, carry you through the entire game. And strong attacks just pancake enemies to the ground. But the only Ultra Greatsword that gets the same damage as this is the Greatsword. But the only difference between this Zweihander and the Greatsword is that it's strong attack. The Greatsword gets a poke attack. Poke attacks are some of the best damages in the game, so it will deal more damage than the Zweihander's pancaking, but the Zweihander will get more range than the Greatsword. So yeah, and you get the Greatsword later on in the game, and the Zweihander is also a pretty good strength weapon as well, if you decide to use it as a strength weapon, because you can get it right at the beginning of the game. Also, there's been a meme giant dad that uses this Zweihander, and that build is so freaking good. And yeah, Zweihander is one of them. They're just the best. One of the best weapons in the game, because you probably saw my video. I put this Zweihander in the top 10 best weapons in Dark Souls 1, and it is definitely the best Ultra Greatsword in the game. For Dark Souls 2, I have the King's Ultra Greatsword. I did have some complaints against the Ivory King Ultra Greatsword, because the Ivory King Ultra Greatsword is also one of them, but I tend to have the King's Ultra Greatsword be better, for one basic reason: strike damage. Every enemy in the game is literally weak to strike damage. They don't even have that much resistance, and it's just so easy to kill a single enemy with just strike damage, because every enemy is weak to strike damage. But the Ivory King Ultra Greatsword gets more range, so both of those Ultra Greatswords will be better. But the Ivory King Ultra Greatsword, to get it, you have to kill the Burnt Ivory King at the end of the Crown of the Ivory King DLC, which the Burnt Ivory King is one of the hardest bosses in the game, and one of the most cinematic boss fights as well. But for the King's Ultra Greatsword, you have to kill the literal easiest boss in the game. Well, one of them, Vendrick. That boss is the slowest boss out of all Dark Souls 2. He's not even focused on you, but his sword does so much damage. And if you fail not to dodge him, due to the lack of adaptability, but at least I got the King's Ultra Greatsword. More easier to get than killing the Burnt Ivory King, the Ivory King Ultra Greatsword, but King's Ultra Greatsword just seems to be even better. But the best build for the King's Ultra Greatsword is that since it can be infused and buffed, a Lightning King's Ultra Greatsword build using Sunlight Blade and a Strength and Faith build will easily take you using the entire game, and it gets so much damage. Like, what? 730 damage on my right hand weapon slot too? Do you see it? 730? Like, yeah. That is why it's the best. It's the most damaging Ultra Greatsword and will always be the most damaging Ultra Greatsword. So, you don't have to worry about dying anymore. Still have to King's Ultra Greatsword so you can do the entire game. But you have to get it at the end of the game because you need to kill Vendrick, which is at the end of the game. And properly kill Vendrick, you have to get all 4 Giant Souls, which you have to go through the memory of the Giants. And yeah, but that is the best Dark Souls 2 Ultra Greatsword. And it is the best. Also the Ivory King Ultra Greatsword as well. Dark Souls 3, the Lockwork Knight Greatsword. Some people think the Ring Knight pair Greatswords are for sure the best, but I don't like having the power stance super hard since you can't reduce the 40 strength it needs. So it really has to force the player put 40 points into strength before getting the power stance it. And you get it super late into the Ring City DLC before fighting Half-Light Spirit of the Church at the Church of Philinor. So better take the Lockwork Knight Greatsword because it still gets a ton of base damage. Best build for this, since it's infusable and buffable, is refined. 40 strength and 40 dexterity would probably be the cap, but since I said 40 strength, you could just use the Ring Knight pair of Greatswords, but since it's refined, it'll do a ton of damage, so there's nothing to go wrong with this weapon at all. But you can just pack this with more damage, more the Wheel Ring and Lightning Touch Ring, do a charge poke attack, which is two-handed, and you'll get so much damage. Like, yeah, this is like not the longest range Ultra Greatsword. I think maybe the Fume Ultra Greatsword might have the longest range, or maybe the Greatsword will. But Lockwork Knight Greatsword still tends to be pretty good. You can get them even. You can get this Ultra Greatsword even earlier in the Ring Knight Greatsword. It doesn't need that much stats as well. For only 24 strength and 16 dexterity, making them great for any faith or quality build in the game. And it skills well on any of those stats. So yeah, the Lockwork Knight Greatsword isn't that bad, but some people think the Ring Knight Greatswords are better. In my opinion, the Lockwork Knight Greatsword is still the best Ultra Greatsword in Dark Souls 3. And finally, for Elden Ring, the Greatsword. Just like for Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, on the weapon versus weapon, some people think Malekith's Black Blade is better, but the Greatsword gets more range. You can get it like right at the beginning of the game, if you just right to kill it. While Malekith's Black Blade, you get it super late into the game, at the end of Farum Azula. But that's also a somber weapon. Anyways, the Greatsword, it does have the longest range, and you can pair it up with several Ashes of War. Some of the best, like Lion's Claw, Giant Hunt, or Vacuum Slice would easily be the best for like the Greatsword, but there are a ton of standard and somber weapons, so the best somber Ultra Greatsword would probably be the Ancient Meteoric Ore Greatsword, since you get White Light Charge with it, which is a Knight plus that'll just carry you through the entire game. I'm serious, it's not that bad, and it's just so good. So there's nothing bad to say about the Greatsword. It's the best weapon in the game. So pair it up with Lion's Claw or something, then it'll take you through the entire game. But the strong attacks for one-handed and two-handed will again be some horizontal swipes, but instead follows up with a second attack with which goes into a downward slam. Which is, yeah, I guess pretty good for like hitting enemies that are on the ground that are small. And like scarabs. Wait, actually, if there were crystal wizards in this game, it'd probably be useful, but scarabs are already bigger. You can already just use the first R2. But anyways, the greatsword just can be run with several ashes of war. They aren't even that bad. So yeah, the greatsword for standard ultra greatsword is the best. Then somber ultra greatsword or colossal sword, ancient meteorist or greatsword. Those both will just carry you through the entire game, and that they are some of the best. And now for the ranking. The best ultra greatsword in all of the Souls series, the best one to ever take the Souls games, the Zweihander. It's got everything you'll possibly need, the Zweihander in DS1, because it's the lightest ultra greatsword. It's the best. You can get it right at the beginning of the game. It gets the most range, does crazy damage. It's a good strength weapon. It gets pancaking downward slams, and this is the best ultra greatsword in all the Souls series. Anyways, if you like that video, please like and subscribe, and comment down below if one of these ultra greatswords is your favorite weapon.